We are back on Get Up, and we're talking about that man, because in the NBA, we are now 1 week away from the deadline for Kyrie Irving to opt into the last year of his deal with the Brooklyn Nets. I want to make sure everyone is clear on just how significant this decision is, not just for this franchise, but for the entire league. Kyrie has two options. He can opt into the final year of this contract. That would be $36.5 million. Or, as Bobby Marks is about to tell us, and Tim Legler gets up with us as well, if he opts out, we're talking about a week from today, he becomes an unrestricted free agent, right?
Yeah, free market. He can go sign with, any of the, 29 other teams besides Brooklyn. The advantage is, though, for Brooklyn, he has bird rights. They can bring him back, exceed the cap. There's not much, limited cap space out there.
Right.
Unless he wants to, of course, go and take that $30 million pay cut. But, yeah, he's not restricted. The Nets don't have the right to match on anything. He will be an unrestricted free agent.
So the point is that at least for the following week, Kyrie Irving really has all of the leverage in all of this. He dictates what happens for the next week. The Nets have no control over whether he opts in or opts out. Now, once he opts out, if he chooses to go that way, it gets a little interesting. So, Tim Legler, let's start with that. I think most people do most people seem to think he will opt in at the end of the day, that he will opt into the final year of this contract?
I don't think he will, because when you look at it, he has reached 10 years of service. So that next contract is a $6 million bump. So he would go from $36 million to $42.7. So I think he's looking at it from, hey, I can get a $6 million increase in salary by basically opting out of his contract. Now, the danger is, where is that $42 million contract going to come from if it's not Brooklyn?
That's the point. And if Brooklyn isn't willing to do it. So, Tim, that perfectly sets up the question I wanted to ask you. Should someone, Brooklyn or someone else, be knocking itself out to give Kyrie Irving a max extension?
Well, the talent dictates that he'll get that kind of money, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't sleep very well at night if I was a front office and I gave Kyrie Irving that kind of financial security. You got to think, this is a guy that has been unavailable for more games than he has been available since he got to Brooklyn 3 years ago. I think at some point, guys, talent shouldn't be enough. We know the talent is there. I get tired actually of talking about Kyrie Irving's talent, because every time we say something and we talk about all of the things that he's been through, and there's some baggage there, we always say, but he's so talented. Yeah, we know that. But is that enough? You have to be reliable. You got to be somebody you can count on, not just in the regular season. You've got to be somebody that's going to be there when we need you most, and also show some leadership ability. And then the final component to me is Kyrie Irving himself has said repeatedly, this isn't the end of the world to him. Basketball's not everything. Is that a guy that goes home and doesn't sleep after losses? And when you start talking about these kind of contracts, I think that should be something that comes with it. You want those highly driven guys that would kill themselves to win. And I don't know that Kyrie Irving falls into that category.
I think you're exactly right. And sometimes things that make people well-balanced human beings are not the things that makes them all-time great basketball players. So I agree with what you were saying. Bobby, let me ask the question to you a little bit of a different way, because I keep hearing people say to me, well, the Nets should sign him to the max extension, but they should put in this provision and that provision. He has to play this many games. He has to do this much and that much. They did it with Joel Embiid once upon a time in Philly. Are those things realistic? Could that be one of the ways this thing gets done?
It should be on the table. I mean, I've got the contract right here.
Okay.
4 years, $192 million max contract. First 2 years are guaranteed. Years 3 and 4 are not guaranteed, but tied into if he plays 65 games. All he has to do is show up, play games. 65 games this year and 65 games next year. Those last 2 years, which is $49 million and $53 million, become fully guaranteed. That's all Brooklyn is asking him to do. I'm not giving him a blank check of $50 million in that last year based on what's occurred over the last 3 years.
Can we make that deal, Tim? If you're representing Kyrie Irving, are you taking that? Does that deal work for you from both sides?
I mean, I don't think that, unfortunately, I think that's a phenomenal offer. I think that totally makes sense. I think there should be stipulations to protect the team to a certain extent. I think they've earned that based on the last 3 years. But I just know that players today of his caliber, they don't go for that. They want it all guaranteed. When they become eligible for Supermax and he feels like he's a Supermax talent, they want all that money. They don't want stipulations. But I think Bobby's 100% right. That is the only smart way to approach this if you're the Brooklyn Nets, to protect yourself, at least to a certain extent. And that's, by the way, 65 games out of 82 is not exactly killing yourself. You're still going to get plenty of nights off if you want those, and the team decides you want those. So I think that's a very smart way to structure the deal.
All right, we'll see if that's where this winds up going. Much more NBA conversation with these two as we continue. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.